right, guys, how's it going? Welcome to After the Catch presented by PGM. I'm your boy KB.
It's your boy Playoff. Welcome back.
Man, it has been a very aggravating week
Woo!
three, but we're here. We're
We are
here.
here. We are here. Yeah. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We're just gonna roll right into it. And get into the week 4 college football rundown. Let's get into some scores here. If you want to kick us off, KB.
Yes, sir. So we had Kansas State against BYU. BYU beat the brakes off them 38-9. We got Tennessee against Oklahoma. They won 25-15. Tennessee's been doing pretty good, by the way. I'm
Yes.
I'm kind of a little
Yes,
surprised
yes.
on that. Uh-huh. And then we had Archie Manning got his first start. There was it. They won 51-3 against Louisiana Monroe. That's a non-team nobody really cares about. Mississippi University or Ole Miss, they won 52-13 against Georgia Southern. Miami struggled a little bit in the beginning of the first quarter, but Cam Ward, he's about to be the future of the Raiders. Literally, they won 50-15. We got Bowling Green against Texas A&M. They won 26-20. Vanderbilt won against Missouri. Missouri won by 3, 30-27. Utah against what's called Oklahoma State. They won 22-19. Utah just lost their starting QB to like a hand infection or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, I think it was
Tetanus.
like tetanus. Yeah.
Yeah, disgusting. He was out, but they managed to win by 3. USC lost to Michigan. That was an epic game. I was watching
Mhm.
the final moments of that, 27-24. So they get their first loss of the season. Buffalo against Northern Illinois, 23-20. We have UCLA against LSU. LSU won 34-17. It's not really nothing to brag about, but I mean, I guess it's good to see I really don't care much.
Yeah, I know.
But LSU, all that. Um, Louisville against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's been on a downfall ever since beating FSU. They lost 19-31. We got Penn State against Kent State, 56-0. Penn State beat the brakes off them. We got Miami, Ohio, University against Notre Dame. They won 28-3. We got Arkansas State. They lost 7-52 to Iowa State. NC State lost 35-59. Clemson starting to go on a nice little run here. What Marshall? They kind of gave Ohio State the run for the money for like the first 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, but Ohio State got back to business and won 49-14. And then we have Illinois University against, or the Fine Alumni against Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, 31-24. Illinois won. So that's all of the games of the rundown to the top 25. I mean, anybody else who wants to know about the all the other scores for football, you guys can go ahead and look that up. But we are where we are. That's a lot of complicated stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I watched a little bit of that Illinois. Let me get back to it. That Illinois Nebraska game.
Mhm.
It was actually pretty good. Illinois ended up pulling out the victory. I'm trying to think what other games I really tune into. I mean, just to echo what you said, Tennessee looks they look really good right now.
Mhm.
Um, I know a lot of people were surprised by that Southern Cal and Michigan game.
That was
Um,
epic. That was epic because a lot of the rumors are going around, and I'm pretty sure you heard about it in the football talks. Is after the conspiracy that happened with Jim Harbaugh and all this other stuff, they didn't know the head coach that's the head coach now can lead the team to victory. So it's pretty good to see.
yeah, and I mean, I think people were just kind of expecting Southern Cal to just kind of roll them, right? And
Hmm.
Michigan, they have been playing okay, but not really that great. And so for Michigan to come through and get that victory is pretty. It's pretty big. Um,
Yeah, I
what?
mean, they haven't been what USC hasn't been really relevant, actually relevant since Matt Leinart and losing to Vince Young in the Rose Bowl slash was
Yeah,
that the national championship?
it was. Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah, against Texas. Yeah, that was. Some people call that the best college football game they've ever seen. Um,
well,
Pretty exciting game, but I think what else? Did you tune in by chance to the the Colorado game this
I
weekend?
did, but I'd like honestly, I clipped it off right before the getting got good, which was like 4 seconds left in the game. I just like, oh, it's over, and then it wasn't over. So, no, I didn't. Did you catch the final moments?
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I was watching, to be honest, because
Yeah.
Baylor had the lead,
Hmm.
and it seemed like the game was just done. Like, Shador was getting hammered. The offensive line couldn't protect him at all. Baylor was just getting after him.
Hmm.
Um, they were up by 7, and they just Baylor made some mind-boggling decisions. As far as from a defensive perspective at the end of the game, because
Hmm.
literally, if it's a Hail Mary situation, maybe you rush 3 linemen, maybe 4, but
Hmm.
you send everybody else back to the end zone. And they chose not to do that. I don't know. It was really like it was crazy. And so ended up being a bad decision because they ended up Shador ended up completing the pass for the touchdown, and they tied the game. And they end up scoring first in overtime. They get the ball first. They end up scoring a touchdown. Baylor gets the ball back, and Travis Hunter ends up making a big play and forcing a fumble on the Baylor running back as he was about to run in for a touchdown.
Hmm.
So they end up getting the win by the skin of their teeth, but a win's a win. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, the game was pretty exciting seeing it go to overtime, but I couldn't believe that Baylor. I don't know, man. Some of these coaching decisions that that we see, it's
Hmm.
like I don't know, man. It just doesn't really make sense. But
Well, I mean, at the end of the game, you close to the end, if you know you're going to get victory, you literally take. Well, I think I've seen some people in college take their tallest wide receivers and
yeah,
put
and
them all
put
the
them
way
back.
back in the end zone to
Absolutely,
swat,
yeah.
swat it down.
Knock
So,
the ball down exactly. So they completely fell apart, and I don't know if they just I don't know, but I don't know if they started feeling themselves or what the situation was exactly. But
mm,
they left the door open, and Colorado walked right through it and ended up winning the game. I mean, Colorado still they have a lot to prove, but um, it wasn't necessarily the best looking win for them, but they got the win. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. I was going to ask you if you had heard this story
so
about this. The Matthew Sluka. He's the QB for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
yeah, he just bowed out. Just bowed out. Yeah, I've never heard of that in college football ever. You have a full ride, you just, I'm good.
So, for those of y'all that don't really know what we're talking about, basically, the NIL has made it so that players are able to get compensated off of their name, image, and likeness. And so, um, the story that the quarterback is telling the world is, and I think he's. Let me see what their record is so far. Um,
UNLV, I don't know if it's good.
yeah, let me look it up real quick. They are currently, if I can find it, they're 3-0.
Okay, very good.
So having a really good season so far.
Hmm.
Um, and the quarterback, his name is Matthew Sluka. Once again, he decided he's gonna take advantage of his redshirt season, so he's not gonna play for the team anymore. And the
Hmm.
reason
Was
why
he a freshman?
I think so. I think so.
Mm.
Yeah. So the story that he's telling the world is that um, he was offered a minimum of $100,000 to transfer to UNLV. He agreed to come. He gets there, and I guess his representation, his lawyer, whoever handles his NIL deals,
Hmm.
reaches out to the school and is like, "Hey, we need to kind of get this contract figured out for the 100K that was promised to Matthew. And I guess the school just kind of kept, pushing him off, wasn't having a conversation,
Mm,
whatever. Ultimately the only compensation he ended up receiving was a $3,000 relocation package. What they tried to do,
dang.
I think they ended up trying to hold on, let me see exactly what the number was.
Mm,
They tried to give him another deal, but it ended up
mhm.
being um quite a bit lower. It was about there was the contract that they tried to talk to him about was about
Mm.
$88,000 short of the 100K.
Ooh,
So allegedly,
yeah.
it felt quite a bit short. So
That was more than alleged. You don't
yeah,
promise that and be 80 days to being that short. God dang.
yeah. So he decided he's going to redshirt and he's not going
Hmm.
to be a part of the team anymore. Um,
Do what you
you
gotta
know,
do.
what are your thoughts? A lot of people have different thoughts on NIL, and some people like it, some people don't like it. How
Hmm.
do you feel it's the proper thing for him to do? Do you have an issue with what he's doing? Just wanted to pick your brain about that.
All right, so I got two things on that. So one, it's you were promised what you were promised.
Mhm.
The only thing that kind of sucks is you didn't get it in writing.
Yes, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do anything, you're gonna commit to anything, you're gonna go somewhere, you need to make sure you get that in writing before you do anything. I've learned that with my mom, with my family, with anybody that tells you anything in business, get it in writing because words don't mean nothing. So that's the first thing. Second, um, maybe possibly a third. I'm just gonna go into like just two like things that kind of connect.
No, you're good.
With the NIL deals that are coming out now, I kind of do think they're ruining recruiting. Some
Okay.
teams can do it, like the upper echelons, like Georgia,
Mm,
like Ohio State, like all those teams are up there that are paying their athletes to come and play. And some of those guys who are also 5 stars. I don't know if Sluka was a 5 star, but when it comes down to like deciding where you're going to go based on the money that you're going to make in NIL, I don't like that. I'm more of like if I know I'm the best, like I'm basketball, I'm the best two guard out there in the country. I'm gonna go to a team that's going to develop me, and I can still get possibly get an NIL deal where I'm gonna go, but I'm not gonna leave that to being my main benefactor decision. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because
Mhm.
I can make as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, I can make 70K work if I get an NIL deal. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
like you have to just like if you know you're that good, the deals will come for NIL. It's just you need to start choosing the actual football team you want to play at. That's what I kind of respect about the team I support, which comes to the Georgia Bulldogs. It's just like we know what we're recruiting, but these kids aren't coming based on deals they're going to get. So I understand like schools like UNLV. There's other schools that are like a little bit smaller on the smaller scale, or they're Division 1, but they're going to pay their
Mhm.
athletes a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
and then you lose them because you're not getting it, and you guys didn't fulfill your promise, which is kind of like a knock on both of them, the player and the school. Um, it's not a good look. I don't know who's going to want to go to UNLV now, knowing that they're not truthful. Like, oh, hold on, we got to kind of we got to restructure some things. That's something you do before the kid commits. So I kind of look at that as a failure on UNLV, and now they're going to pay for it. Well, possibly not being undefeated because you have to use probably a quarterback you're still trying to develop on your bench. That's probably gonna have to start now. So I kind of don't like that. The bad look on college football. And some of it's kind of annoying because a lot of these kids are deciding to go to start certain schools based on money they're going to receive instead of trying to hone their craft and do what they started as a kid when money didn't even play a factor.
Yeah, man. It's tough, and like you said, I think um, it's a different story for the upper echelon schools because if you're going to like a um, Georgia, if you're going to Alabama, if you're going to trying to think of the other upper echelon schools,
Ohio State,
Ohio
Texas,
State, Texas, yeah,
mhm.
exactly. Then you're not only going there, you're mostly going there for the opportunity to the spotlight that comes with playing there, but also too the development that you're going to receive or in trying to prepare to go to the next level. Like if you're going to one
Right.
of those top tier schools, you're your plan is to play in the NFL, and
Right.
so more than likely. Now, will you necessarily accomplish that goal? Not it's not 100% obviously, but that's what your game plan is. And so for those schools, they don't really. I mean, the NIL deal isn't the main draw or the reason why you're going. Whereas these smaller schools, like you said, they're having to, hey, we'll give you this money or we'll negotiate this or the contract to make it more attractive to come and play there. Um, and so, I think one thing for with these kids, like you said, you gotta have your business in order. If someone from that school, like officially, like an official role, is telling you, hey, we're gonna give you this, you got to get it in
Mm.
writing. You can't just be a handshake deal and you show up, and that's not how business works. And so you got to be on top of your business. That's the whole thing of that adds another wrinkle to this whole NIL is like making sure you have proper representation. There's no way if I'm representing this kid, there's no way I'm letting him step foot on the campus at UNLV until we have it in writing that hey, you're getting this 100K.
Even to take a visit, to
Exactly. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
visit, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's just yeah.
So yeah. So um I don't I don't think the kids should I don't think people should look at it as like the kid's not a team first guy. I mean, I think if any of us had a job and we show up to that job and we sign a contract or there's a certain expectation like, hey, we're gonna be making this much, and then you get there and they try to
Mhm,
change it substantially. Oh no, we miscalculated or whatever. Most of us are walking off the job that day. You know what I mean? If the money's not
mhm,
right. So I respect him for doing what he did. Apparently he wasn't the only one either. They have a running back who also announced he's going to be redshirting too. And he's not playing
mm,
this season. So
mm,
um, and he was tied for second in carries on the team. So he had a
ooh,
defined role for sure. So I'm not really sure what's going on with the UNLV program, but
mhm.
they got some things to figure out over there.
Same
Um,
thing happened to USC. USC
oh yeah,
just
I did see.
lost,
Yeah, yeah, they lost.
yeah, Bear
Right?
Alexander. He's a former five-star, if anybody does know in their college realm of high school football. He was with Georgia, I believe, for 1 year, then he left to go to USC, so he should be around his I think next year will be his junior year, I wanna say.
Are
But
there any
he
rumors
left
right
to
now where he's gonna go? Or
I don't. They just said he's gonna redshirt. Honestly, I am praying if my team did grab him, we need a healthy D lineman because we're kind of banged up. But I'm just playing. But when it comes down to it, just like kids are just dropping like flies because of the NLL deals. I think he was promised a certain amount of money. He wasn't going to get it, and you know why he wasn't going to be top dollar last year because Caleb Williams was making all that money. So,
gotcha, yeah,
um, but yeah, he was another person that did decide to leave.
gotcha. All right, well, that pretty much covers it as far as the college football rundown for the most part. Let's get into our two teams. We'll let you go first and talking about your Bulldogs were on a bye, right? So they didn't play.
Bulldogs, they were on a bye this past week. Thank God, we kind of needed it. I wish we had another bye week so we can get more healthy. We lost. What was it? I think we're going against Alabama next coming up.
Yeah,
But it was a good week just to get more healthy, do more practices and stuff like that. But I mean, after that game we had against Kentucky, I think what we're not even number one anymore. We're number two in the nation. And there was just question mark after question mark about our team after we barely scraped by beating Kentucky. So we're going against Alabama next, and they're what I want to say, number four in the nation. So we got a lot of work to do. They got Jalen Monroe, who I do not believe who can pass the ball to save his life. That's just me. I'm just saying, there's Jalen Hurts, and then there's Monroe. I don't believe Monroe can pass the ball. I'm not even trying to be mean. I don't even think he's in like the top 10 like QBs to be drafted, if I'm being honest. But he's a dual threat. I'm really nervous. Am I nervous about going against Alabama? Yes, I am because we're banged up and we just lost another weapon on our offensive end. And on top of that, Carson Beck not looking like the Heisman quarterback. He looking like he was Stetson Bennett before Stetson Bennett became him. But yeah, it's been a stressful week, man. Just trying to make sure these kids stay healthy. But when it comes to college football, it's just like NFL. There's always some nick or some
or
type of
somebody getting hurt.
some injury that happened. So it's been a lot to go through. I keep getting like like my phone is blowing up with just a whole bunch of recruiting stuff's happening with Georgia and injuries is happening. We don't know when we're gonna get this what's called a whole bunch of people back that are main contributors. So a lot of freshmen and sophomores have to step up. So this Saturday is gonna be big. I don't think I'm gonna be able to watch the game, so I'm gonna have to record it. Because I
Oh
have to
man, you're
go
not
to
gonna be
my
able to
niece.
watch.
Yeah, I gotta go my niece's birthday. Shout out to my niece Savannah. Happy
Okay,
it's gonna be her third birthday coming up.
your
This
birthday.
Sunday's her official.
Your
Yes,
birthday.
thank you. It's her official birthday on Sunday, but it's a birthday party on Saturday, which is gonna be taking place from 1 to 4. So I'm not gonna make it home till a good
Oh
6.
man.
I know, yeah, it's a 1 to 4 to get 6, but it's worth missing. I'm just gonna say that. I love her to death. But yeah, man, it's just we got stuff we gotta do. When it comes down to just Georgia in general, we got things to do. And I know you want to talk about your Gamecocks, so I will pass it on to you because yeah, I'm already stressed enough. That's why I'm decided to go bald, so I don't go gray.
Um, yeah, man, this was it's kind of a layup week for
Yeah.
us. Um, we played Akron. I mean, Akron is Akron. So the Fighting Zips. It was a home
Oof.
game. It was a home game for us. So we
Hmm.
actually ended up wearing the throwback our throwback jerseys,
Hmm.
and we ended up winning 50-7. Um, I don't really take away too much from this game. I mean, sometimes you just have it's like you schedule a bigger program schedules like a cupcake or a easier game. I think we actually are going into our bye this upcoming Saturday, so which is much needed because our starting quarterback, Lenore Sellers, is he's injured, and so we had our backup QB running the offense
Mm.
in this game. And then unfortunately, our starting running back, Rocket Sanders, he got hurt as well. And he was seen walking in a boot on the sideline. So that is not good because we have a really big game coming up. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday after that, we got to play Ole Miss. So,
I'm gonna
um,
need that. I might have to cash in that favor, man. I'm gonna need y'all to take care of business. You
hey
know what I
man,
mean?
I'm if we can make that happen after what happened with LSU, I'd be very happy. But just to kind of break down the game, I mean, the score of the game 57, so it's not super competitive. Robbie Ashford is the backup quarterback. He had a good game throwing. Well, he didn't really throw the ball that much, but he was effective. He was 15 to 21, threw for 243 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball. He was our best running option. 16 carries for 133 yards and 1 touchdown. What was confusing to me is that this is the same backup. And don't get me wrong, Akron and LSU are two completely different teams,
Hmm.
obviously. But the plays that and maybe it was just because they knew he was playing. And so, him practicing and kind of having a better feel for what he was going to do on the offense and the scheme and the game plan. I
Hmm.
think that had an impact, but he just looked so much better. Whereas when he came into the LSU game, it was like he couldn't even. They weren't really dialing up any throwing plays at all, like any passing plays. So that was interesting. But he looked like I said, he was effective um, in doing what we needed him to do. As far as on the defensive side of the ball, we got
Hmm.
at the quarterback. Ended up getting 2 sacks, three tackles for loss. We did get one interception as well. Um, so yeah, man, no complaints. Easy game, and we get roughly 2 weeks to try to get healthy with this bye, and it's sorely needed. Like I said, our quarterback is hurt, running back is banged up, so hopefully these are just short-term injuries, and they'll both be healthy going into that Ole Miss game. But we'll just have to see how it all turns out. But Gamecocks are currently 3-1, so um, we'll take it. We enter into a pretty tough part of our schedule. Um, but no matter what the rankings are, you gotta show up and you gotta show up and play. So, um, we'll see what happens. But excited, man, excited for sure.
Speaking of quarterbacks, before we go ahead and transition to our other topic, do you know how many times Shador Sanders? Because we're going back to the Colorado game. How many
Okay.
times he was sacked that game for you, by any chance?
Um, I know the number is high. I'm gonna say I don't know the exact number. I'm gonna guess 6 or 7.
He was sacked 8 times.
Oh man, yeah, they were getting after him,
8 times. Shador,
and I
dude.
don't.
First, oh
Go,
man,
go,
go ahead,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go
Before
ahead.
I go, I just got something I got to say about him because he is scaring me. He's scaring
I'm
me.
starting to think it's not because people are complaining about how bad the line was last season, and like they reshuffled the line. They brought in like new recruits and all that stuff. I'm starting to think, and don't get me wrong, does the offensive line need some work? Yeah, or just like continuing to get better? Absolutely. But
Mhm.
I also am starting to think that Shador is a part of it as well. Like it's not just the offensive line. I think Shador,
Come on.
the way he's approaching it, he's holding on to the ball too long. Trying to. And I think people watch Patrick Mahomes, and everybody wants to be Patrick Mahomes. They want to run around, scramble, try to find an open guy, and throw it down the field for a touchdown. And it's like that's not everybody's capable of doing that. And
All right.
so, you know, sometimes you just got to make the right play, even if. And sometimes the right play is just checking the ball down to the running back, or just
Speak the truth.
finding the open receiver, not holding on to the ball for 5, 6, 7 seconds and trying to get a 40 or 50 yard touchdown. That's just not how it works. And so,
Hmm.
um, again, I have to go back and look at all of them, but I do think there's an element of his game, and that's something he's going to clean up in the NFL. Like, assuming he gets drafted and all that stuff, which I think that's a foregone conclusion. But if he's struggling with getting sacked right now, like defensive linemen are faster, way faster in the NFL than they are in college. So
Yes.
it's only going to get worse. I mean, you see Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams at Southern Cal, he thought, hey, man, I can just buy time in the pocket. I can just run around and just eventually throw the ball down the field. And he's fighting for his life right now, running for
He
his
thought
life.
he could. He thought he could do that backyard BS, and
No,
yeah, he
that
another
that's
thing
not
happened to
that's
him.
not how it works,
Hmm.
man. You gotta respect these defensive linemen. Most defensive linemen in the NFL are faster than the quarterbacks.
That
There's like there's like one quarterback, two maybe, that are faster than defensive linemen, like Lamar Jackson. Maybe you throw Jaden Daniels in there, but
think that's probably it.
yeah,
Or
but like,
maybe and call what's called Kyler.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Kyler too, yeah. But
Kyler.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, other than that, they're gonna run you down given the opportunity. So, but yeah, go ahead,
It's
get into what you're saying.
uh so no, so just looking at some of his stats. So Shador, he had 19 attempting rushes, which means I'm pretty sure he scrambled out the pocket.
Okay,
Rushed for 26 yards, rushed for a TD. So passing, and this is kind of where I'm at with him. Because Raiders, I swear, y'all bet not try to draft him and not look at what he's doing. It's so his completions were 25 out of 41 attempted. That's not good.
yeah,
Not good at all. And he threw for 341 yards and 2 TDs, but was sacked 8 times. So it's like, Fedor, I'm pleading with you, man. If you gonna do something, work through your progressions. Like,
yeah,
do something. Like, I'm not trying to kill him. Like,
yeah,
I know I'm just like I'm a civilian. I'm not a college football player. I'm just saying when it comes down to quarterbacks, in order for you to be a top quarterback, you got to be able to be at least close, damn near close to 40 to 50% completion rate. At least, probably even more than that. So it's just like I really want him to work on that because I think he can be a good QB. It's just I honestly don't know what Buffalo's doing. But other than that, that's kind of my rant when it comes to Shador. I'm really hoping he really starts to clean it up because NFL, it's like I'm gonna be scared. I'm scared for him, like I was scared for Tua. Like I think he can't be taking them kind of hits. Like he
yeah.
can't.
You are absolutely right, man. And I think like I said, I think that's a part of the game, part of his game that he's really going to have to develop, his pocket presence and getting the ball out quick. I mean, I don't know if you looked at the numbers, but like the offensive, there's only been two QBs so far this season
Mhm.
that have thrown for 300 touchdowns. I'm sorry, for 300 yards and three touchdowns. Two, and we're in we're coming into week 4 of the NFL
Mhm.
season.
Yep.
So NFL defenses, like defensive coordinators, are they're clamping down. They're running cover two. They're making it more difficult for QBs to get explosive plays. You're having a lot of like check downs, getting the ball out quick. Teams are having to run the ball. Like it's almost like we're kind of going back to a traditional NFL offenses of the past, where
Mhm.
being able to run the ball is super important. And it's like if you can't do it, then you're gonna have trouble moving the ball because you can't just sit back there in the pocket and throw the ball all day and have success. That's just not, these defenses and these defenders are too smart. Pick the ball off Austin Eckler, old Austin Eckler. Old Austin Eckler used to play for the Chargers, hasn't been super effective in years. That's why he's not with the Chargers anymore. If they felt like he was effective, he would still be there. He's not.